Diecast Norbs is a channel devoted to the teen to adult toy collector, pop culture fans, and fellow nerd enthusiasts. This is a PG-13 channel. I might say some shit. Viewer and parental discretion is advised. Hello, hooligans! It's time for another episode of Diecast Norb's Galactic Hooligan, and this isn't necessarily my own episode, but this is actually something that I worked on with a good friend of mine, CJ from CJack Productions, and this was something that we actually put together a couple of days ago for Valentine's Day. So we're actually doing like our own Netflix Siege review and everything. He actually got all the okays from Netflix and from Hasbro, and which was great. So I was actually like, there was talent and everything, which is perfectly fine with me and everything. So like, I would love to thank CJack for like actually letting me become a part of his merry venture. And I thought this video actually came out pretty great. I had a lot of fun with it. I hope you will too. I'm dropping it on my channel just now. So this is actually going to be a little bit different from like most of the videos that I actually do here. But this is actually kind of fun, and I actually had like a lot of laughs with it and everything, so did he. So I appreciate you for joining me. And again, if you haven't liked, subscribed, or hit the notification bell, I'd really appreciate it. One click doesn't cost you a thing, but it means a lot to me. Also, be a hero, wear a mask. There is a ton of COVID still out there and everything that we actually still have to beat. Every little bit helps. I actually double and triple mask and everything. You know, I think you should too. And also, I want to be able to like make sure that you guys are actually protected. Protect your best friends, your loves of your life, your puppies, your best enemies. That's right, even your enemies actually need protection and everything, because who's going to arch you if you actually don't have those people, you know? So, kick back and relax, grab a snack, and watch this amazing venture. Thanks for joining me.
Hey, what's up, everybody? This is CJack here, and this is Diecast Norbs, and we are about to actually get this party started. Let that be done right there. And we are doing, finally, after months of myself procrastinating, we're going to talk about Transformers The Legacy episode. Now, this will be a 3-parter event, possibly in 2, but depending on the audience, we'll see what happens. Norris, why don't you introduce yourselves to the audience for those in the CJack Productions who doesn't know you that well yet?
Alright, my name is Diecast Norbs Galactic Hooligan, and I am I'm actually one of the toy reviewers on YouTube and everything. So I actually have a channel called Diecast Norbs, and I also have Diecast Norbs Activate on Facebook, which is actually a place that I like to share like some of my videos and like some of the fan photos that I actually do. Eventually, I'd like to do something more with it and everything. I'm an artist also, you know, so there's like a lot of things. There are a lot of things that I'm actually doing on my end. Oh, and also my Instagram page will also be Diecast Norbs Activate.
We'll leave you a link below, guys, just for the record.
Oh.
Sorry about that.
Yep. That's all right. No worries. No worries. Impertinence.
Impertinence,
No,
right?
no, but like impertinence. No, but seriously though, I love like the toy world and everything. And Diecast Norbs Activate, which is what I'm actually trying to do now, is actually going to be like more of a Transformers in general nerd channel and everything like that. So I'm actually trying to expand a little bit more. You know me from like just doing like the toy reviews and everything like that. But now I'm actually thinking of like other ways to like expand my channel and everything. Who knows? I may talk about aliens one day or something like that, just to fill in some space or something. You
Or
know?
some tentacle face slime who might actually cross the nebula. Wink, wink.
Who knows? I could become a man of culture one day or something like that also. So, I don't know. I'm just like trying to figure out exactly what would actually work in the world of YouTube and everything like that. But for now, it's actually all about like giant robots and Transformers and Diaclone eventually.
Hashtag Mecha Life. Wait, let me go on this. Mecha Life. or giant robots and stuff.
That's hilarious.
For M, Mecha Life. I mean, you know, that's what it is.
Right.
Do you consider Transformers an anime? That's a very popular question.
Oh, I definitely consider it an anime. Back in the days and everything, when nobody actually really knew what Transformers actually was, it was actually part of Diaclone, but like most of the animation was actually done over in Japan. See? You know, and like it was actually so it's actually just
especially during our era, during that whole '80s era.
What was that?
Especially during our era, during the whole '80s era. Yeah.
Exactly. One of the best long-running commercials to sell toys ever made.
Dude, that's all Transformers is, the overgrown commercial. That's it. I agree with you.
Exactly.
And for those of you who don't know who I am, on his channel, I am C-Jack from C-Jack Productions. I do reviews from everything from anime to pretty much everything short of religion and politics. I try to stay away from that. And I have always been a Transformers fan for quite some time. I had to have my boy here. This is why I procrastinated on this. I had to have my boy here because his Transformer knowledge, at this point, I honestly, with humility say, rivals my own. I grew up in that old school 80s era, and he's been keeping up with the new. Just today, I just found out there's a difference between Earthrise and I just did it again. No, don't help me.
And Siege.
And Siege first and Earthrise. I did not know that. I was thinking it was like, okay, well maybe there's another chapter. If I've been paying attention, I've been noticing.
Right, well there is going to be another chapter. We're going to be talking about Kingdom eventually. You know,
by the way, guys.
That's actually going to involve that's actually going to involve the Beast Wars characters and all this other jazz, you know what I mean? So that's actually going to be like a trip altogether. I already started buying the figures for that already.
And that's when I stopped.
So I'm like really looking forward.
Right there. After season 4 and they introduced Beast Wars, I have no clue what happened. This would be not only nostalgia purposes. I'm serious, kind of sad, but yeah. Right. And you can check out my channel at C-Jack Productions on YouTube, Instagram, and now TikTok. I'm not too familiar with TikTok just yet. I'm still learning the ropes. Yep. I'm stepping my game up. So.
Nice. Okay, TikTok. Yeah. That's actually a venture that I keep on thinking about going into. But
for right now,
if I actually go on TikTok,
for now, I just post infomercials on it. So it's not really like, hey, you like what you just saw for 30 seconds? Check out the channel. That's all I'm doing right now.
For me, if I'm actually doing TikToks, if I'm actually doing the TikToks, I'm gonna take a lot of time to actually think of some stupid videos to do. You know, so
you're gonna kill it. Your sense of humor is ridiculous, and that's what sells on TikTok. I'm serious. I mean, I'm funny. I'm more like bar humor funny, and serious nerdisms. But yeah, I'm serious, man. You'll get that. That's serious.
And you know what's actually great about TikTok? It's kind of like set up more like the old Vine. In fact, that's actually kind of like what it took over for. It's like kind of like fits in where the Vines actually left off and everything. So. And plus, not only that, but they actually offer like a lot of great tools for the filmmaker and everything too. So it's actually it's great altogether.
Yeah. All right. Well, we're going ahead and dive right in. This is Transformers Legacy review. Let's get this started. This originally, how can I word this? It was a year 2021. The Autobots actually took over the planet Cybertron with the Decepticons. Whatever. If you guys watched the original 86 movie, you'll know that reference. So we're going to talk about Siege first from Netflix. And
Right.
my personal commentary here on this, Norb, is the fact that I love the fact they brought it back to literally More Than Meets the Eye episode 1 kind of feel. You know, like they got to get off of Cybertron. They got to get the energy.
Yeah, I get that too, but like the difference in that is that when you actually meet Bumblebee and Wheeljack for the first time and everything like that, they kind of like Bumblebee's actually kind of like out there. Like in it's Generation 1, they're friends. They're best buddies and everything like that. You know, they've actually had some cohesion and everything. With the Siege version, I think it's actually kind of interesting that Bumblebee actually kind of comes in as kind of like more of a mercenary kind of character and everything like that, or kind of like the guy who's actually kind of like just like out as a scavenger and everything like that, just like getting his stuff and everything like that, picking up anything he could actually, you know what I mean?
Yeah. So I'm glad you said that, because you see mine on my chest. It was so hard acknowledging Bumblebee. I'm very glad you touched on that. See, this is why you're here. Dude, there was no Autobot symbol. The old school OG Bumblebee, you didn't see the Autobot symbol. I'm like, dude, it was like, you know how some stuff like a zit or something sticks out to you like an eyesore? The fact he didn't have the insignia, was, for me anyway, it was killing me. But you're right, though.
But remember also, if you're thinking about it,
I liked it personally.
So if you're thinking of Transformers as just robots and everything like that, who already have a faction and everything like that, you're thinking of them in the different text and everything like that. For me, I kind of consider them aliens. So it's not like a mech story to me. It's actually more of an alien story to me and everything, you know? So where their choices, their like consequences, they're like things that you actually have that they have to think about. They're things that actually drive them and everything. So, you know, whether or not they actually wanted to be like an Autobot or a Decepticon, becoming a part of the armies, or becoming like just like a regular like non-faction thing, which is what I would love for them to like actually focus on for a while too, you know? Right.
He wanted nothing to do with nothing.
Because, you know, there are actually other people there except for just fighting the fighting class and everything, you know?
Like, I'm glad you brought that up. Like, also in Siege, let me not get too far ahead of myself. Ratchet, everybody had a different direction. It was not the original plot. I agree with you, and I like that actually. I'm trying to go in order here, what I memorized in my head. I'm a visual. So, Ratchet, for example, thank you very much. He, much like Bumblebee, as he presents this. And by the way, please check out his channel because he does this all the time. I'm gonna leave a link below for you guys. Ratchet was actually fixing his base programming. You know they're based on their programming, but they acknowledge who they are. Ratchet was repairing both teams, and he doesn't see faction. He sees Cybertronian. See, he believes as a whole, and you know, and even Optimus Prime and Megatron lost sight of that during this war. Now, I'm gonna touch on, and I'm gonna touch on another thing. Ultra Magnus. Here we go. I'm gonna get this out the way. How does this guy go from this badass model you got, by the way?
Ultra Magnus.
Wait, bring it to the closer to the camera.
Okay, there you go.
There you go.
Ultra Magnus.
Now, is that a masterpiece or no?
No, this one is actually the Siege version of Ultra Magnus.
So this is what we see like
releasing. Right, they're supposed to be releasing a Kingdom version of this pretty soon and everything. That's actually supposed to have like bigger smokestacks and like the glasses, and he's gonna be cool, but he's gonna be disappointing as shit too. You know what I mean?
Why is that?
They're actually using most of the old mold from this and upgrading it just slightly, but also making it where it doesn't make right connections. But also with this version, it's actually like the Cybertronian car. I mean, the Cybertronian truck, and for the Earthrise truck, they didn't like really. They hearkened somewhat to the '80s, but they didn't like go back far enough to actually give the fans what they actually wanted and everything. So, in robot mode, just great, kind of, you know? But in truck mode,
My boy said,
so, like, there's going to be a lot of stuff. Yeah, exactly.
Here's my thing.
So, as a fanboy myself and everything like that, I'm going to be like, kind of really harsh on this review and everything. So,
you got to.
I'm actually like, I'm big on Ultra Magnus. Super big on Ultra Magnus. So I'm going to be super
I see
harsh
him
on this one.
your, what is that? Is that your right shoulder or left? What, your mirror? Yeah, that
that's
one.
my left shoulder. So,
Yeah.
I mean, my right shoulder. So,
See?
like, there's my other Ultra Magnus.
Yeah.
Yeah. And
Does he have double the missiles on his shoulders?
That one too. What?
Look like, does he have double the missiles on his shoulders?
Got like double missile. They actually went on the IDW version of this.
That's why I'm
asking.
asking.
Upgraded it with.
Yeah.
Right, but he upgraded it with a few things from like a couple of like Chinese and Japanese like upgrades and everything like that. So there was one I've never gotten, you know, because it got lost in the mail. Blah blah blah. You know what I mean? Yeah,
that's terrible. For those who are younger than both of us, IDW they were the first wave, and correct me if I'm wrong, Norb, that's why you're here. They were the first turn of bringing back the Transformers. It was a 6-issue special.
No.
Okay.
They actually, I think they were like maybe the second people who actually there was Dreamwave who actually tried
that's what I was thinking of.
Like, right. And then IDW actually took over eventually, which they actually did brilliantly with their stuff, you know what I mean? But like Dreamwave was actually the first ones who actually started like getting more and more into Transformers lore, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And just kept them relevant.
And so sorry about this, guys. But now back to Ultra Magnus. How does he go from this?
Then that's exactly what they're gonna see. Damn it! Open! Magnus! I want the Matrix! Never! We exterminate him! Die! Die!
Now to this.
Okay, so
your thoughts on that?
I can't deal with it now, Ultra Magnus, you know? Like, everybody actually has kind of like a thing about the I can't deal with it now, because like, I guess Ultra Magnus could have actually been looked at as like an ass back then and everything like that, you know? And he was actually kind of like the stoic warrior and everything like that also. He didn't really feel as though he actually that he actually deserved a leader to become leader of the Autobots and everything like that. He actually just kind of like more thought of himself as a soldier. But this one, the one that's actually in Siege, I don't know if he's actually kind of like more of a pacifist than anything else, or if he was actually more of just trying to get everybody back on the same page and everything like that. And I guess that I'm actually wondering if like surrendering to Megatron kind of like meant that all of Cybertron would actually be kind of saved and everything from like what he actually kind of like felt was Prime's war.
Yeah, he was hoping. But first of all, that's another thing about that you brought up that I think is interesting. They made it more intimate, meaning like, hey, we grew up on. For those who are not diehards like us, oh, here we go. So, going far back as I can remember, obviously they grew up on Cybertron when they finally made their factions from Autobot to Decepticons. It didn't matter at one point after their oppressors. We'll get to that in Earthrise very soon, who their oppressors were. But they were brothers, Ultra Magnus, Prime, and Megatron. And they fought together, they lived together, they were different, just like black and white. There was allegiances, nobody put a label on it. And Ultra Magnus, like you said, he wants that old school family. And hey, look, dude, you guys been beefing for a while. Pretty much, yeah, he's pretty much the bleeding heart. And he threw himself to the lions. I liked Ultra Magnus. I like him more than Hot Rod. My beef. That's just me. But
I think everybody likes him more than Hot Rod. You know?
Right. Because Ultra Magnus was a stick in the mud, but he was practical. You know what I mean? He was just practical. And in this, I don't mind the fact that he questioned Prime. To me, that's character development. Because, back when we were growing up, everybody blindly followed Optimus Prime without having an opinion. I think that's fact. But come on, you know that. Especially in G1. Wait, real quick. Like Cliff Jumper, go ahead and go recon.
Yay, Frog, you did it.
Right, like Cliff Jumper, you and Hound go by yourselves and recon Decepticon headquarters. Yeah, sure, Prime will be outnumbered, but hey, no problem.
No. You can't put that all in Prime or anything.
I know, I'm messing with you.
Cliff Jumper actually had enough to do with that. You know what I mean?
Oh, no, I'm just teasing.
He was actually the guy who, taking a bazooka out of his ass and everything. What the hell, man? Who does that?
Right.
Where did you get that bazooka? That's what I want to know.
Dog. Well, what's it called? That cartoon space pocket Prime has it with that trailer all the time.
Oh, right. That's where Prime keeps his trailer, and that's where Soundwave keeps its tapes and everything like that, you know?
But anyway, your thoughts on Ultra? I'm sorry.
That's a good... Yeah, my thoughts on Ultra. I really like Ultra in Siege. You know, like, I thought, like you, I thought the fact that he was actually able to question a leader and everything, that actually kind of, like, shows like good, strong character development, but also shows like the type of person that Ultra Magnus actually is. He isn't afraid to like actually go against the grain and everything like that, no matter whether or not if it's his enemy or if it's his commander and everything. He wasn't actually afraid to ask the tough questions, which is the person that you actually need on your team whenever you actually have something like that. You know you're actually kind of like golden and everything, you know? But but that whole bleeding heart thing where he, like, I kept on feeling as though he should have actually maybe sided with Prime a little bit more and everything, like, you know what I mean? Like, but, see, this is the one thing I'm actually wondering about, because, like, so you have that matrix of leadership, but then you also have the right of the Alpha Trion protocols. The Alpha Trion protocols in Siege was actually the thing of what they were like two split things.
Oh, I know. I'm sorry. That face was wrong. I know what it is. It's like, I'm with you. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
So which is Trump? What does Trump? Because no, not that Trump. The Trump is it the Matrix? Is it the Matrix? Is it the protocol?
I think they're actually kind of like both equal. The reason why Alpha Trion actually split them up was because, I mean, of course, leadership, the matrix of leadership will actually far outweigh the Alpha Trion protocols. Okay. But Alpha Trion also thought that absolute power corrupts absolutely. So that's why he actually kind of like split them up and everything like that. Someone who actually had the matrix and the protocols might be a danger to himself and to his team and everything like that. Also, maybe the planet on a whole. So that's probably why he actually kind of like split them apart and everything like that. So one person couldn't control everything. You know?
Makes sense completely. I totally concur. All right.
Right.
So
kind of
now,
like playing Monopoly and everything like that. And then who's actually going to, you know?
Stop buying all the hotels. No.
Exactly. That's what I did. The first thing I did, buy the hotels. God damn it.
My boy said, real estate, bitch. No. All right.
Exactly. I played a game like that a couple of days ago. Don't try me.
Wait, Sidebar, guys. Sidebar. With your girl or what happened? Because Monopoly ruins friendships.
So my girlfriend and I actually bought political Monopoly. And
oh my God, even worse. Yeah.
And you know how you're talking about like we don't talk about politics? I agree. But we're talking about politics now. Because political Monopoly, oh my God.
It's in the name.
Best game ever.
I have to buy that.
I'm saying.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, sorry, get back on track, guys. I'm sorry. But, okay, so Mirage, another Autobot that caught my interest. Then there wasn't just character development. My man, he looks just like on the series.
Yeah. You know what actually kind of got me? So then, hold on. Through the magic of television, I'll actually change Mirage into Evil Mirage, right? And see, I kept on wondering if Mirage was actually going to change factions and everything throughout the
don't help me, like Double Cross or what was his name? Two-Face.
Right. Like oh man, hold on, what's his name again? Punch Counterpunch. You're thinking of, right?
Yeah. Well, right. That's for G1. G1 is Punch Counterpunch. I'm impressed you.
Oh, you think
Transformers Armada was huh?
Are you thinking of a Jetfire?
No. There was another Transformer series. So one on Cartoon Network. Sideways.
I never got into that guy.
I mean, it's not insane here, but he. I thought where you're going with that. I like where your head was at. I thought Mirage was gonna do a Sideways, basically.
Right. I kind of thought that Mirage was actually gonna be like, you know, like he was gonna be like a good guy one time, like for a while and everything like that. And he was like, and then all of a sudden he's gonna be like, you know, y'all should have really listened to Cliff Jumper because he had something going there, and you know, like he warned you.
Very good.
But,
and for you guys younger than both of us, now Generation 1, I got down. The episode was okay. Here we go. It was a script episode meant for season 1 because season 1 didn't have all the new Autobots, I like to call them, like Red Alert, Inferno, and the others, like Trax.
Right.
But this episode dropped off in season 2 called Traitor. That's where Norbert's is referring to. And
Right.
impressed. And Mirage was being suspected to actually have collusions with the Decepticons for a while, but he was playing undercover to gain their trust. But I forgot the reason why. It's not that important. But what Norbert,
I think, like for some reason, Cliffjumper actually comes with trust issues and everything already.
that's
So-
true. He's
Right.
Like
Right.
Ironhide,
So
your shoes aren't tied. You're Decepticon. Bam.
right. Exactly. Remember what he did with the rocks?
Yes. Yes. And show that again,
Trigger
Norb. The
happy,
Mirage figure.
Right.
No. Show him
Oh.
again. Yeah, you're fine.
Mirage. Okay.
Yeah.
For references, guys. All right.
There we
There's
go.
Cliffjumper
And that big ass cannon he got.
with his bazooka ready.
Bazooka
You know,
ready.
ready to fire at someone. You know.
Right. And Mirage, and about in this series, why I bring him up, what I liked about him was the fact that not only I was like, oh, they got Mirage. Okay, we're getting ready for disappearing, reappearing tricks. No, this dude camouflages, and didn't he at one point multiply himself into actual Hound hologram type format?
Yeah, and then when I saw this, I was like, when did he get Hound's powers?
Right? And then,
Yeah.
and speaking of another character, I know he probably don't have. Well, knowing you probably do. Speaking of Hound, I should have known better. And speaking of Hound, guys, you're not gonna beat this guy's collection. I'm just throwing it out there right now. Speaking of
There are
Hound,
people who beat my collection.
Right.
I'll tell you that right now.
really?
Yep.
Yeah.
I'm actually like a novice collector compared to like some of the people out there.
That is scary. That
Right.
is scary. I got a buddy named Aaron Lawson who's in CJ's Random. Also, check out CJ's Random on Facebook with a link to CJ Productions. Shameless plug there. He collects Gundams, and his entire guest room wall. Like, I have posters and I have blank spots here. He didn't bother hanging up posters in one of his rooms. He has nothing but Gundams. A-Law, if you're watching this, shout out to you.
That's freaking phenomenal.
Just nothing but Gundams, like the shelf you got behind you. Just imagine that, but in
Right.
all four corners. He just collects Gundams in the packages.
Sidebar: I actually had like there was a friend of mine
Mhm.
who actually collected nothing but Gundam. But he and his girlfriend were actually big like Gundam fanatics.
Oh,
But they
see?
also cosplayed and made Gundam like armor and everything like that for cosplay and everything like that too.
That's fire.
And they were bananas, man. Let me tell you.
See, that's fire. And speaking of fire,
Right?
here knows where I'm
Oh.
going.
Are we
Right.
gonna
And
go
speaking of
to-
fire,
are we gonna go to Jetfire?
Jetfire, when it is all swollenness glory. Is that his original
Oh,
head?
wait. We're not going to talk about Autobot Jetfire, whom I love.
Okay.
We're actually going to talk about. Right? We're going to talk
Oh,
about
no way!
Decepticon faction Jetfire.
See?
Right? Whom. But anyway, let's go on to Jetfire.
Killing me.
and everything, because
Why did
you know what? I kind of like love the rivalry with like. I mean, he actually still has the rivalry with him and Starscream and
Yeah.
everything. You know what I mean?
Right.
And
Screamer.
you know, like for a while, I was actually thinking that Jetfire was actually going to be just like a regular drone of Megatrons and everything like that for a while. Of course, they're actually going to do the thing where he actually switches factions and everything like that. You know?
Right.
But you know, like he's Megatron's lackey for the better part of it until he actually finds out the last minute that he can't deal with like Megatron's homicidal tendencies, and then you know, but like I'm just like, didn't he like realize that Megatron had all these tendencies before and everything like that when
That's
they were
what I
enslaving
love.
the planet and everything and just trying to destroy
Yeah.
all the Autobots and everything?
I
and then-
concur.
so-
I'm sorry.
Right.
And that's what I love about. How can I word this right before I lose it? I'm sorry, D. That's what I love about irony of allegiances, you know, because like
Right.
we are watching this in real time. Okay, well, Jetfire, you should know that Megatron's bad way before I started watching this. Talking as you and I as a third wheel. They've been
Right.
at this for hundreds of thousands of years, and it's like, oh, okay, and that you would. Oh, Norbert punched me in the
Right.
face. Oh, he punched me in the face again. Well, let me go a couple more millennia. Hey, wait a minute. I don't like this anymore. You know what I mean? It's
This is
like
the thing that actually happened. It's just like Megatron. He actually comes out.
Nice.
He's like killing everybody as much as possible and
even the
everything.
scars are there. That's ridiculous articulation.
Oh, right. This is great stuff. Let me
Yeah.
tell you. So like, he's actually off killing the whole entire planet and everything until one day like Jetfire says, "That's way too many, Megatron." I'm gonna join the other team now. You know.
Jetfire literally said, "Yeah, you know what? The body count. Wait. I'm so fucked up for saying this. The body count, so it mattered. It's only 10,000 Autobots. What's the worst that can happen? Okay, we're getting close to 1 million. You know what? The body count's a little too high. I guess I'm gonna switch allegiance. What?
So, hold on. So, like everybody, right? So this is why. Oh, see, like in my mind's eye, he's actually still G1 Jetfire and everything.
Sure.
A lot of people are gonna say he's Skyfire, but like he's Jetfire. But for
Guilty.
me, Jetfire will always be an Autobot. And since Siege, he's got to wear the mask of shame, so he can actually hide his shame from the other Autobots.
Oh, so we're pulling a Destro or the man behind the Iron Mask kind of bullshit.
This is the way it is for me and my collection.
My boy said, "I know my truth." He said, "This is my truth." All right.
This is my truth. This is the code I live by.
Well, what I like about that, he didn't change much. If you think about it, with everything you just said, with season 1, by the way, Fire in the Sky. Granted, he changed allegiances under one episode, but realistically, how long it took entire Siege before he turned over, right? Yes, I remember now.
What in the original G1 series?
Yeah.
Or in the original G1 series, it was just that episode. But in Siege, it took him like maybe the whole entire season.
Correct. Yeah.
I think maybe 2 or 3 episodes in, he was actually starting to like go over to the Autobot side and everything like that.
You don't switch teams overnight. You know, and
right.
The episode I was talking about, OG Fire in the Sky, he only did it in 1, but that's more realistic. You're right. So,
by the way, where they killed off Moonracer, my babe Moonracer, you know what I mean? Like, yeah. See, this is the one thing I don't get. Like, so they actually bring Moonracer in, who I've been dying to see ever since she was actually
sharpshooter, right?
Yep, she's a sharpshooter, sharpest shooter in the whole entire galaxy, right?
Another episode,
and they kill her off in 1 episode. What?
That's just that is kind of wrong, because a lot of people don't know there were female. I'm glad you brought that up. Actually, there are female Autobots. Don't mind me, guys. These are my notes here, because this is gonna be a 3-part event, possibly. The female Autobots.
Right.
No, we actually have those, or
we actually have Alita 1.
Alita 1. Damn, she got thighs?
That's actually supposed to be Optimus Prime's like betrothed, and at the same time, you know, at
it is time, Valentine's Day, and
oh yeah, that'll actually be Valentine. This is a Valentine's episode, isn't it?
Technically.
Oh shit! I need to work on a Valentine's review. You're absolutely right about that.
Why I think I wanted to drop it on? Well, technically I was going to drop it on Saturday, but I thought about Sunday instead. Valentine's Day.
Right. Yep. So okay, love, life's sweetest reward.
We need help, folks. This is what we do. This is what nerds do. But yeah, man.
Right.
No. And even her character was much. The only time Alita, back in, you gotta remember it was the 80s though. You know, girls can't do that. I was shocked they even had a girl episode at all, to be honest with you.
Yeah. Well,
back in our day. Yeah.
You know, Ratchet in the early stages, Ratchet was actually going to be a woman at one time, and then they actually decided, Originally, he was actually supposed to be a female medic for the Autobot team, and then
Our Era or Netflix?
What?
Our Era or Netflix?
Our Era.
Oh, okay, like, interesting. I didn't know that.
Yeah. And then all of a sudden, Marvel actually said, "No, that's too silly. We can't do that. Or it's gotta be all guys, you know." So yeah.
So like that. Well, it's true. And so Alita, how can I word this? They gave her more atmosphere. Like, she questions Prime, versus episode 1. Like, no, take us with you. Stay back, Alita. You know, all that stuff. Stella.
But you want to know something? In all respects, I really think that Alita is actually just as strong as probably Prime and everything, leadership-wise, you know? And I feel that she's actually still got this stuff that the matrix of leadership could actually warrant as a good leader, you know? So along with with Ultra Magnus, along also with Bumblebee. So I'm actually kind of feeling as though I've actually got some Bumblebee vibes when it actually comes down to like the taker of the Matrix and everything like that, or like who the Matrix should actually be passed to.
Because and Siege,
So
I like to call it in part 1 of this. I'm gonna say that for Siege. Prime
right,
told him like Bumblebee, it chose you. Well, I don't want it. A lot of people. You think I'm speaking as Prime? You think I wanted to become from Orion Pex to Optimus Prime? You think I wanted
right,
this?
right.
Join the club. Right. Prime's development, character development. Nobody. How can I word this? Nobody is going to do Peter Cullen like Peter Cullen and Optimus Prime's voice.
Agreed.
Yeah.
Agreed.
This guy, do you know his name? I should have done more research on that.
I want to say it's John Bailey, but I don't know if it's John Bailey or anything like that, because he actually does a great Optimus Prime also.
Yeah,
like
he
he does a phenomenal Prime.
Right.
But like, I want to say it's John Bailey, but I don't remember offhand.
Okay. Well, he kicks ass and takes names. Sorry for all the language, folks, but no. Because Peter Cullen, he's on his way out. You gotta, with all respect, the guy's pushing 80 now. It's only a matter of... You know who impresses me on the sidebar?
Is he really, though? Like, I thought that Peter Cullen was actually a lot younger than that. I wanted to say, like, in his, like, maybe later 70s or something. Like, maybe, like, mid-70s or something.
How old is Peter Cullen? Wait, can you guys see that?
79 years old. Okay. So...
Yeah, folks, I did that.
The same thing as Bernie Sanders, and I still say they kick ass. Let me tell you something.
Yep. No, I absolutely agree.
Let me tell you something, though. I still think that Peter Cullen, I know Peter Cullen was actually kind of sad that he wasn't used for Optimus Prime and everything like that. And I kind of feel as though they could have actually put him into the storyline as like more than a consultant, because who's more Optimus than Peter Cullen?
I'm gonna impress you. Even Batman and the Brave and the Bold, the guy who played the Batman's voice was kind of corny because he was the same guy who played my guilty pleasure, Billy and Mandy, the guy with the chainsaw in his hand.
Get out of here!
Same guy, same voice. I follow voice actors a lot, folks. It's a hobby of mine, and he played Batman in the Brave and the Bold. So in one episode, Chill,
actually,
yeah, see.
Yeah.
And then one episode, Night of Chill, or I forgot the title of it. I'm a Batman fan. I can't believe I forgot that. They brought in Kevin Conroy to play Thomas and Martha Wayne in that episode. And you see where I'm going with that. And I agree with you. Somewhere down the road, and probably Earthrise Kingdom. I finally got it right.
Right.
And maybe in Kingdom, maybe he might make an appearance. Maybe he might be Optimus Primal.
Maybe, because like Peter Cullen isn't gone yet or anything like that.
No.
Let's get that straight right now.
No. I'm not taking him out yet, folks. But they're thinking ahead, right? No.
Yeah. So like, I kind of feel as though like maybe it could actually be like kind of like one of the last hurrahs that we actually get with Peter Cullen, because it's like Stan Lee. He was actually kind of like working for like forever before he actually decided. Or before he actually started deteriorating and everything like that, sadly at least anyway, Yeah. And he loved what he actually did until the very end. I'm seeing Mel Brooks actually doing the same thing and everything like that, I'm actually seeing like Danny Glover actually doing the same thing. Like there's some people who are actually in the industry are actually in there for life,
Yeah.
So,
typecast, like who just passed away, Adam West. But anyway, all right, so. With Prime, where I was going with, I'm sorry, folks, we're just reminiscing, but with Prime, what they did with him was they didn't change his concept at all, which I was really afraid of, because Netflix never lets you down on their animation unless you're into that field of animation. Like I did a special, shameless plug, Anime What the Hell Happened, season 2 of my show on C-Check Productions. Right. I talked about how certain series needed a revamp versus did not. Voltron, the DreamWorks, for example. That was done really well, and some people would say...
I loved it.
Yeah, see? And some people would say it's just barely above the bar of the original, which is very hard to do. DreamWorks did a very good job. This is not a DreamWorks product. This is just Netflix, right? The Transformers.
Right. And for Voltron, I actually thought that they actually went way beyond what the original Voltron actually was. Not in the face, don't kill me, fans, But let me tell you something.
Very good. Not in the face.
Yeah, not in the face. I'm wearing glasses, everybody.
Yeah.
But let me tell you something. I really thought that they actually pushed the envelope when it came down to Voltron. Same thing with Thundercats. like not Thundercats Go, but like that of the last serious Thundercats.
2011
thing that
Thundercats.
What?
2011.
Yeah, that's it.
Mm-hmm.
Like I thought that they actually really pushed the envelope when it actually came to
Because
Thundera
Ivan was a
and
big
like
fan.
Third Earth and right. And I love that show.
Mm-hmm.
I still think that that's probably something that outsurpassed what the original Thundercats actually
I
did.
love how Cartoon Network drops these gems. Like, dude, don't stop. This worked.
Right. Like I would love for them to do Silverhawks or Mighty Warbots too and everything,
Mm-hmm.
and bring like something, push the envelope on that also and everything like that, But then, Cartoon Network now will actually give us something like Teen Titans Go or whatever.
Well, the president, the lady, not being sexist, but the lady who now runs Cartoon Network wants more of a huggy, cuddly, it depends on the demographics. I understand the parents are involved.
Is that what it is?
Oh, yeah. The regime pretty much died. I should know this as a 40-year-old man, but fuck it. The regime pretty much died with that generation of, I would say, not even that far back. Eddie came later. About the Eddie era. Yeah, that's about right. And then they started looking for something a little more cuddly. But anyway. Prime to me, I think, we got past the voice, but the character. Prime to me did an excellent job. Same Optimus Prime. They put more doubt into him. Some people may actually see that as weakness, but I think it's actually...
a lot of people actually did do that. Go ahead.
Sorry. I agree with you, yeah. Because, dude, people were arguing, like, why do you like Prime? There was some people on the internet, I was looking at all these comments on, there's a Transformer org I follow. And they were like, well, the new Prime is a wimp, he's insecure, if I wanted this, I'd get Hot Rod. They put just a little bit of insecurity because you're going to make mistakes as a leader. The Prime we grew up with, no, I'm saying we're going to do it this way. I mean, the naivete of him being optimist is going to be there. In fact, you pointed that out actually last time we talked about it. Elita 1 was pointing out, that's the problem. You see the good in everybody and it blinds you. Right. But that's who he is.
Right. Also, Prime was actually dealt like the load of like having to deal with a dead world or a world that's actually dead and dying and everything like that. You know what I mean? So when you're actually in that point of, I think that you'd actually be making like really calculated like thoughts and or really calculated risk and everything like that. So he'd actually have to be a little bit slower in his imperative. He'd actually have to be like a little bit. He'd actually have to like think about everything and see exactly what outweighs the other and everything like that. I mean, of course, throwing the Matrix into the bloody sky bridge and everything like that. I mean, not the Matrix. I'm sorry about that. The Spark, the Allspark. That's right. He throws the Allspark into like the space bridge and everything like that. I guess that's. But
Alita hit the nail on the head. From Megatron. I'm glad you brought that up. Alita hit the nail on the head. That was simply pure and simple desperation. Prime was desperate. He wanted to keep it out of Megatron's hands by any means necessary. I agree.
I'm sure a lot of people would have actually done the same thing in the same in the same shoes. It just depends on what everybody's battle scenario actually is and everything like that, or what they actually will do in certain situations and everything, because you can't necessarily predict what one person may do from the other. One soldier might have a different outtake than another and everything like that. They're not all mindless drones or anything like that. There's a lot of thought and intention that actually goes behind that,
Yeah.
So, right.
And then there's aspects, so that's Prime's take. Now the Decepticons' perspective. My boys. So, I talked about Autobots. Hound didn't get much action. Rat shit, I talked about that.
Peace through tyranny.
Yep. My boy, OG Megatron, right. I loved how Megatron is the epitome of the dark. You remember that picture in the background? And I love it, because you're on Cybertron. And you would think having portraits of yourself is a human trait. Remember the sword, he's stabbing one of his opponents when he was in the arena, entertaining the Quintessons. Remember that in the background? Right. He had the cape on, and he was looked like he stopped in an Autobot or something.
Right.
Yeah.
And you'd expect him to have a picture of himself lying on the tiger or something like that.
Yeah. Well, where I'm going with Megatron is, he does not partake in his ego as much as Starscream, which is my favorite. My favorite Decepticon, I'm gonna say it out loud, is Blitzwing. But transportation wise,
Really?
yes.
See,
Yep.
for me, it's Astro Trade. But anyway, go
Okay.
ahead.
All right, so that's why we probably get along. The Triple Changer brothers, I call them. But
Yeah.
character-wise, nobody. And he made Wizard Magazine. I wish I still had it. He made Wizard Magazine's top hated villains of all time, Starscream.
Yeah, he's the guy that you actually love to hate. You know what I mean? And that's why, and if anybody actually has his figure, you ever notice that this one actually has a smirk? That's because I actually took like
arrogance, dude. Yeah.
I actually took Thundercracker's like smirk and everything and put it right on this guy because this is where he deserves to be.
That's what he. That's what he does.
Yeah.
And even before before Jetfire switched allegiances and they were butting heads to take over the Seekers, he was like, dude, Megatron, why do you put up with him? He's treacherous. He's treacherous. He can't be trusted, and he's entirely too ambitious. And Megatron, just like I'm sitting, he was like, yes, admirable. He's an admirable qualities.
Qualities for a Decepticon, yeah.
And I can tolerate his ego, but he gets the job done, which I kind of respect versus this clip right here.
You are either lying or you're stupid. I'm stupid.
So right here, where Megatron's bashing Starscream, it's like the odd couple of the Transformer world. He's just smacking him around. If you look hard enough on YouTube, there's a clip for 15 minutes where Megatron is just beating the crap out of Starscream. You
might as well use that meme where Megatron's actually choking Starscream because that's their relationship altogether and everything.
Barton Homer.
right.
Who's who? Right.
Itchy and scratchy.
And it's just ridiculous, And I love the fact that they toned it down. Starscream still cannot be trusted, but he's waiting. But
that's what I love. Oh, that's what I love about Starscream. He's always waiting to take over. It's like Megatron stubs his toe and he's like, "All right, everyone, follow me." And it's just like
that's all it takes.
That was great. It's like Megatron actually said, "I have had enough."
Basically, Megatron, Starscream. Okay, in the 80s, here we go. In the 80s version, the Decepticons didn't have much of an opinion, or they were just mindless drones, as you said, like Skyfire or Jetfire. And this one, they have meaningless agendas or meaningful, like Shockwave. That's another good example. Shockwave has a hidden agenda. Not as direct as Starscream, but he's like some weird, crazy, mad scientist kind of guy. And in Shockwave,
that's why I respect Shockwave for just way too much.
What is he, the Gundam special model?
No, this is actually the Siege version. You can actually take off all these other pieces and everything. But I'll tell you one thing: he's actually as mad scientist as Wheeljack, and he's actually not afraid to perform experiments on himself.
Alterations and all that stuff.
Yeah.
True signs of lunacy.
He had his emotional imperative removed so it doesn't get in his way.
Did not know
that's the kind of guy that's the kind of guy that Shockwave is.
See, I did not know that. You're absolutely right there. That's a trip. Yeah. That's crazy.
I love that about Shockwave.
No, I do. No, he's cold, calculating, and callous. One time he questioned. I was watching Siege. He questioned Megatron like, well, we wouldn't have to worry about this if I had more energy. And Megatron put up his fusion cannon. Do not question me again about my methods. Okay, you're the man. You're okay. What I mean? That's always Megatron's answer, just to hold up a big-ass cannon to somebody's face. And then
I love how Shockwave completed it by saying, well, we'd have more energy if we took some lives, I mean, that's what we'll do here. And then
back to the series. How did you feel when Megatron was collecting everybody, just draining them, even it just into the core of Cybertron? How did you feel about that?
He's desperate at that moment in time.
Really?
And desperate call. And this is actually in Earthrise, isn't it?
Yeah, I got it. Dang it, I got a head on that one. But that's an Earthrise.
No, wait. We're going to talk about that because, I really feel as though Megatron was actually super desperate about that, about trying to, find
I remember
Prime.
Now. He was desperate because Prime we're going into Earthrise, guys, but that's gonna be another part. We're gonna stick to Siege right now, but for some
We'll go back into
foreshadowing.
Earthrise again.
You're fine though. But for some foreshadowing, Prime already took off. Megatron lost track of him, and I have to remember how they found him again. Again, that's gonna be another part. And at the point where you're talking about, well, until we fix this problem, we have an immediate problem. So he started draining energon from the weaker Decepticons or Autobots that he can salvage just to power their operations. Everybody. Nobody was saved. And it was just sickening because Elita 1 was back on, just an outline, guys, just an outline. And Elita 1 is back on I was gonna say Earth, back on Cybertron holding it down while Prime is missing in action and stuff. But yeah, dude, Omega Supreme, the Guardians.
See, I wish I had an Omega Supreme right now, but
not
Omega
bad though. You had
Supreme-
everybody else. I'm serious. I'm impressed. But yeah, the Guardian scene was cool. We heard about the Guardians even back in the original G1. Again, you know, but now Prime goes to them like, I love the whole Japanese feel. Like, you know what I mean? I have to go off to the journey and request permission from the Guardians to help us on our aid. You know, all of them said no, except for Omega Supreme. Which was awesome.
Omega Supreme actually kind of like had that thought of like, you know, we're kind of like on this planet too, so, you know, we might as well not be jerks and just kind of like help out Prime and everything. And you would actually think that all of the Guardians would actually feel the same way, but they're kind of like non-combative. They kind of wanted to stay that way. They kind of wanted to be in their total zen, you know?
Like, remember Lord of the Rings when they asked the tree people to help? And they said no? That kind of thing. Yeah.
The Ents, right.
And
they actually had to wait for... Yeah, they had to wait for quite a while for the Ents to, like, actually get their acts together and everything like that. You know what I mean? And then, you know, like, after a while, they were like, hey, that fire could actually burn us. So, you know, like, maybe we should actually help.
An infernal eye could do some damage and shit.
Exactly.
It was only 6 episodes for us to review, and that is our hour window. Okay, so see, told you it didn't take long. Did I miss anything for our viewers?
We actually covered a lot, you know, like we didn't cover like Impactor and his relationship with that's what
I'm gonna ask you. So who are these newer, because you've been watching this longer than I have. I'm giving you credit where credit is due. Like Impactor, Barricade, like are these newer filler characters for the series?
Well, Impactor, hold on, I'm just trying to find Impactor now. But Impactor is, I can't find my Impactor right now. But he's actually supposed to be like he's actually supposed to be one of the wreckers. Now, I'm not exactly sure where the wreckers actually came from, if they were actually kind of like more of an IDW. No, I think they were like more of a Marvel thing. But basically, they were actually kind of like the Navy SEALs, so to speak, of like the Autobots or something, or the demolition crew of the Autobots, who, whenever any job was actually too dirty and they needed someone to like actually go off and like do the dirtiest jobs and everything like that, you know, the dirty deeds, you know, then that's when they send a wrecker. That's where they send the wreckers, you know.
Makes sense to me.
Yeah, so the wreckers actually had like Cup, I think Blair was actually in there, Rack and Ruin. Who else was actually in there? Oh, Topspin, Twin Twist. They actually had like, Whirl. He was actually in there also. Roadbuster. So they actually had quite a few people that were actually a part of the Wreckers and everything. So let's say it's kind of like their special ops. And
I like that.
Yeah. So, like, basically, that was that. I think Ultra Magnus was part of the Wreckers at one time, too, and everything, you know? So,
and why do you think we have not seen a combiner yet?
What? The Wreckers? Combiner?
No. Why do you think we have not seen a combiner yet?
I don't know if they're ready to delve down that road right now or anything like that, only because I'm wondering if they would actually think it's actually too expensive at this moment in time. Because, like, basically... Hasbro is actually working with like whatever monies they're actually using to push product and everything like that, you know? So for the longest time and everything, and we're probably going to have like another episode of finding the figure in stores as opposed to scalpers scalping and that sort of thing, and because there's like a whole bunch of stuff that I could actually say about that also and everything. But like, I just wonder if it's actually too expensive of a deal, or if because I would love to see combiners.
You're
in
asking
this.
me whether it's on paper too expensive, or is it on paper meaning like corporate angle or
Right.
writing?
Well, that's what I'm actually getting at. Like I'm actually
Okay.
wondering if because they've actually given us combiners in Titans Returns, they've actually given it to us, and they've actually given us combiners in Combiner Wars. But it might not be like where they actually want to travel to right now or anything like that. And now with Studio Series, we're actually getting like a lot of like characters like Hot Rod, Cup, and we're actually getting Dinobots finally and everything, and like leader class size and everything. So like
Sick.
So like I'm actually really happy about that. I'm waiting.
I'd kill to see how they're gonna put Grimlock. Grimlock is like a flagship outside of Prime. It goes in popularity to me. It goes Prime, Autobot side, Prime, Bumblebee. Right. Some cases Hot Rod. He's popular, but not for good reasons. But he's still popular.
Right. A lot of people still love him.
Yeah, exactly. Believe it or not, there's a lot of love for Springer and then Grimlock, the top 5. Okay.
Because for me, it would actually be Optimus. Then I think my all-time favorite would probably still be Bumblebee. But like for me, it would probably be like Optimus, Jetfire. Prowl used to be, but like Grimlock. You want to know something? My favorite faction is the Dinobots.
Never knew that.
All the factions, of all the factions of the two combiners and everything like that, just Dinobots. The heavy hitters, they actually bought all the dynamics and everything like that of like a super like assault team and everything like that, But
they took punishment. The Dinobots, they take punishment.
Exactly. I mean, they'll actually go after like a giant-sized combiner and everything, with just being dinosaurs and everything, And sometimes they'll win, sometimes they'll lose and everything. They don't care. They're just like in it for the fight,
Yeah, they're their own Autobot version of Saiyans. But yeah, I hear you.
Right, exactly. I love their transformation thing too. Like they'll actually be like transform and destroy. What? Like, I love that. Like, instead of transform and roll out and everything, or transform and rise up, like for the Decepticons, it's transform and destroy. What other faction do you know that says that?
The Technobots are too techno. The Protectobots are designed for defensive purposes.
Right.
Who am I missing? Aerial bots. They're tough, but they have limited mission power because they're made for flight.
Right.
And
you actually have Decepticons who are actually kind of like more demolitions than anything else.
Yeah, exactly. But you see my point. Yeah, that's true. So
right, Constructicons were actually like made for construction, but also
I think that was a good move on the creators' part of the original faction for Constructicons, because you gotta remember the entire Decepticon military is designed for destruction of some kind.
Right.
Outside of Soundwave and Shockwave, you didn't really, everybody was made for combat.
Right.
The Autobots, I had this poster where it had each faction and what Autobot did. Like, okay, Ratchet is obviously a medic. Then Hoist is designed for maintenance. Wheeljack is engineering. Then they had Hoist was architecture. You know what I mean? Every Autobot had a faction. Or Decepticons, you just, they like to bash stuff. So
yeah, they were all made for destroying and espionage. I
forgot my man Soundwave. How did I do that?
Yeah, how could you forget Soundwave?
Right? I'm losing my edge. Thank you for that.
We'll talk about Soundwave.
Well, you know what? You know what it was? I take that back. Watch how I spin this. Soundwave is just there. Whether he's in 86 or 2021 actually. Soundwave is just there. He'll just blindly...
Just hide behind the scenes. Just wait.
Is that Laserbeak in there?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, see. Behind the scenes. Communications. I forgot. Yeah, Soundwave's communications.
Yeah.
Very few.
Yeah.
And the thing is, and Soundwave, he's original top 3 Decepticons. The Starscream, Megatron, and Soundwave, the top 3.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, absolutely.
Definitely. And
I love, as much as Soundwave was actually loyal, Starscream was disloyal. And I love that about that cohesion of that whole entire team,
Hey, Soundwave's superior. All right. Well, that covers pretty much our review for Siege. And that's the first of a 3-part. We definitely would drop this into 3 parts. It's confirmed. Trifecta.
Mm-hmm.
You got anything you want to hashtag or remind the Patreons and the loyal audience here to check out?
You know what? I'm just glad that they were actually able to join us today. So, one thing I always want to leave everyone with is that I want them all to make sure that they spread kindness out there and everything, and make sure that you're kind to each and every person, even yourselves. Also, when these stop being magical, that's when I'll stop collecting.
Right? Which will probably be never. But you have a good point. Keep washing those hands, even though the vaccine is out there. Here's your public service announcement. Keep washing those hands. Keep those masks on. Whatever stance that you believe, that's you.
I'm gonna send this to you. This is my other PSA. Be a hero. Wear a mask. And,
oh yeah, I seen that.
Yeah.
Be what Optimus Prime will do. Wear a mask. Prime does.
Exactly.
I love it. Don't forget to share,
remember,
comment, and subscribe to both of us. And we're out.
Talk to you later.
Later.
Now that was a lot of fun to see. I really had a great time doing it. I'm glad that you got a chance to join us on this grand adventure of mine. I really appreciate you all for joining me again. Remember, the one thing that Galactic Hooligan actually always says is that the most gangster thing to do is to be kind to one another. Be kind to yourselves, be kind to each other, and just pass it around like the best blunt you've ever had and everything like that. Just make sure to be kind. Pay it forward, and kindness shall be rewarded back over to you. I told you all to grab a snack and grabbed one myself. But again, thank you for joining me. And remember, when these stop being magical, that's when I'll stop collecting. Take care, everybody. I will definitely see you soon.